What's up, guys? This is Kyle from Wax Museum, and today, as you can see here, I'm going to talk to you about unlicensed cards. And when I say that, I mean they don't have an NBA license. So it's been a very popular topic as of late with the new Topps Chrome basketball set, which I'm calling Fanatics Chrome. And a lot of people in the comments have just been saying, yeah, unlicensed is awful, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you've watched my channel before, I actually do like a lot of unlicensed cards as long as they serve a purpose. And this new Fanatics Chrome doesn't serve a purpose for me. In fact, I think the only purpose it serves for the collecting community is just to be a vehicle for Wemby and LeBron autographs. But I've said enough about that. Anyway, I like unlicensed cards as long as they serve a purpose. So I want to show you some of the unlicensed cards in my collection, just a small portion of them, and kind of talk about what purpose for me I think these cards serve. So let's go ahead and start way back with 1969 Topps. So this is Wilt Chamberlain on the Lakers. But if you look here, there is no mention of Lakers on this card because they had a Players Association license, but not an NBA license. So it says Los Angeles here. You can't see his Lakers jersey. And even if you could see it, they wouldn't be able to show the word Lakers or the font of Lakers. And you look on the back, it doesn't say Lakers on there anywhere as well. So sometimes they had warm-up jackets, which probably wouldn't go too well today if we had that. If it was just a city or a state name on the jerseys, they were allowed to use it at that point. I don't know if they can now because I'm guessing they've kind of gotten a little more savvy about, you can't use certain fonts or you can't have the team name showing in a certain way or the city name showing in a certain way. And then in some instances, like this Nate Thurman, he's got his warm-up pants on, and then he's got his jersey on backwards, and it's just a mess. So that probably would not be a popular set today, but you have to consider the context here. Topps hadn't made a mainstream set since 1957, and then we had 1961 Fleer. So there was a definite need for basketball cards, even though they weren't super popular. So that was just kind of the best that they could do at the time with what they had or what they wanted to invest in it, I should say. Okay, so let's move into the 90s, and I actually want to start with these here. So this is Collector's Edge, which they mainly did college cards. And so you can see like Iverson, although you can't read Georgetown there necessarily, but that's a Georgetown jersey. This Antoine Walker's a Kentucky jersey. The NBA jerseys, though, do not have any team names or city or state names on them. And yeah, they're ugly, right? Because there's that big open space. So that's a common complaint that we have today. I just really like this set, though, because I like the idea of pairing a young up-and-coming player with a legend of the game. I like stuff that kind of remembers the league's history. And for me, this was something that connected eras. So I thought that was a cool set. So even though, it is kind of ugly, I did pick these up and I do like these. And these are, I believe they're all numbered to 1,000. There's still some, I think I have a Walt Frazier as well, but there's some others that I'm missing. So someday maybe I'll pick those up. I think there's David Thompson, George Gervin, a few others. Okay, this card here is from, I believe, 1998. And you can tell it's Shaq, right? It's pretty obvious that it's Shaq. This is when he was on the Lakers, but you don't see Lakers anywhere on that uniform or anywhere on this card. And this card is from Taco Bell Originals, Home Originals. So I believe it's like the Godzilla lenticular cards they had around that same time where they were putting these in the Taco Bell taco shells that you could buy at your grocery or you could buy at Walmart. I believe that's how these were distributed because that's what that Home Originals product is. But this is a little smaller than a standard card. But pretty cool. I like it. It's something different. Not super valuable either. You can probably pick these up for $1 or $2. Okay, so now we haven't gotten into Leaf yet, and I'm going to show you a lot of Leaf cards today because when it comes to unlicensed, they're one of the main card companies for unlicensed cards. So this first one here, this card, in my opinion, is just stunning. It's a Marcus Haynes, who was a Harlem Globetrotter. So this is not a Globetrotters licensed set. And, he wasn't an NBA player, so it's not supposed to be an NBA card either, but this came out of a product called Leaf Q. I actually think that's a Harlem Magicians jersey, which I won't go into all the logistics of that, but that was kind of a spin-off of the Globetrotters for the abbreviated version. I'll just put it that way. But anyway, I think this is a beautiful card. It's got an on-card autograph. There's not a lot of Globetrotter stuff out there. It's got a picture of them. Did a pretty good job with that uniform. I don't know, just a really solid card overall, and it's game worn. Now, who knows what kind of a game or what era this was from, but I thought that was just a really fantastic card. Now, here's a stack. This card is hideous, right? There's just no other way to put it. It really bothers me. It's a Ron Artest card. It's got just the design itself I don't like, right? It's a 101, but there's a lot of Leaf cards that are serial numbered really low. And it pictures the back of a Bulls jersey, but it doesn't have the nameplate on it. They stopped doing that. It's just really not an attractive card at all. But that is one of the nicest Ron Artest Pacers patches I have ever seen. So I did pay up for that, but I just couldn't let that one go. I think it's from a pair of shorts. I think it's from the side. You don't see a lot of like Pacers logos like that. So what I did, and I didn't want to actually mess with the card. So what I did, and I kind of store it like this, and it doesn't look a ton better, but I took this Fleer Showcase card, just punched a hole in it, and tried to pretend like it's a Pacers patch. So I didn't glue it to it or anything like that. I just put it in the same top loader. So that's kind of how I deal with that and having that unlicensed card in my collection. Another couple cards here. These are Patrick Ewing nameplates. Leaf has done a really good job with the nameplates. I think these work really well even without the player pictures because the focus of these cards is and should be the patch itself. I like this set a lot better. This was the earlier one that came out. I just think the dark background with the foil looks a lot better. I don't like all these ribbons or the blue foil here. I think that looks kind of cheap in my opinion, but I liked, it's an Orlando Magic Patrick Ewing letter. You know, I couldn't turn that down. So anyway, those are a couple of unlicensed cards I like as well. And if Panini really wants to, I think they could do something like this. Instead of purging all their relics while they still have the license, I think they could do something like this and have it just a killer game-used memorabilia and unlicensed set. I think it would look really awesome, and they wouldn't have to have a ton of pictures of guys in uniforms. Okay, we'll come back to some other Leaf stuff here later on. The next card up, this is from a company called SportKings, which was owned by Leaf at one point, and I think it's owned by Sage now. It's gone through a couple of different brands, but this is an on-card Bill Russell autograph. This was really my gateway into other Bill Russell autographs. It was a cheaper one, and I think it just looks great, even though, you know, he doesn't have Celtics on the uniform there, but with the black and white design, the black and white photo, the on-card, the black autograph. In this case, I like black instead of blue. I think it's just a great-looking card. And a lot of people, you know, I had a similar one of these in my inventory at one point at a show, and people were like, hey, you know, what is that? Like, they just don't trust it because they don't know what it is. But these are legitimate Bill Russell autographs. They're cheaper and they look great. So you might consider that if you're wanting a Russell autograph for your collection. Okay, another SportKings card that I really like, I've talked about it before, is this Reggie Miller relic. And if you don't recognize this relic, it's actually the finger sleeve that he used to wear. He used to wear a finger sleeve, and they cut it and they, you know, spread it out here and put it in a card. And so when I say a card has to, you know, serve a purpose for me to get it, but there's no picture of Reggie or anything on it like that, there's no other company has done that. No other company has had a finger sleeve, certainly not of Reggie Miller. I was super excited when I saw that, and I knew I was winning that card. I'll put it that way. I was definitely winning that card. Okay, this is not SportKings or Leaf, although it kind of looks like that stuff. This is President's Choice. They don't use foil, so the design-wise and the quality of these are probably a little bit lesser. I mean, even they just print 101 on there. But, I mean, it's a Reggie Miller nameplate. It's game-worn. I know they got a lot of their stuff, not to say all of it, but they got a lot of their stuff from the old Fleer auction. So some of this was just game-worn stuff that Fleer never got around to using. So I don't know. People have different levels of trust with that stuff. I get it, right? But I trust it in this instance, and very happy to get that Reggie Miller letter, a nameplate at just a fraction of the cost of what it would be if Panini even made one. They didn't make any Reggie Miller letters, so and Topps and Fleer made some back in the day, but they're very hard to find, so I was happy when those came out. Okay, speaking of serving a purpose, the post-COVID years have been really tough for rookie stuff, and we don't get player-worn stuff. It's just game-worn stuff. At the end of the year with Flawless, it's really expensive. We don't get a lot of cards on time, so Leaf made this print to order. I think it's called like Anime Nation or something like that. This is a Ben Mathurin card in the style of like Speed Racer, right? So it doesn't say Pacers on there anywhere, but it has that motorsports theme. A great drawing of him. You can tell it's Pacer. It looks like Pacer stuff, like he's wearing a jacket or something. I don't know. Maybe that's a jersey. Who knows? But I just love this card. It was a print to order. Not very many people ordered them. There's only 44, and I know one person at one point had like 9 of them that he ordered. So that was actually, it's one of my favorite Mathurin cards still, even though a lot of stuff has come out since then. I just think it's just a really great looking card. It has a refractor-like surface on it. My friend Steve said that they actually have a peel on the front that you can peel off. I don't know. I'm kind of scared to do that. I don't think it looks like a peel, but he peeled his off and it turned out well, so I might do that at some point. So anyway, they weren't making a lot of Mathurin cards at the time this one came out. I was real picky about the Mathurin stuff I bought, but I grabbed it. Speaking of being picky about Mathurin stuff, okay, these Leaf Trinity RPAs, they're not the most attractive cards. I get it. I don't like the photos that there's that big blank space once again, like I talked about with those time warps, but these served a purpose for me because they were player worn relics. And I know a lot of people just don't even want player worn. I don't mind player worn if the alternative is non-associated, right? And this came out way before the game worn stuff came out. So this was like the only, decent RPA out there for Ben Mathurin, in my opinion. And I got it for, I don't know, less than $30. And they had 3 Pacers in the set. So once again, I don't like the pictures, but I grabbed all the Pacers. And then they also had 3 Fever players in the set. And all of the Panini WNBA stuff is non-associated. So good luck getting relics that, WNBA players have even worn. Well, Leaf gave us some in this Leaf Trinity set. The big bummer for me, even though that would be a great picture to use, is that is Nalissa Smith pictured from when she was in college at Baylor. It's unfortunate. There's another college photo. And then this is a Fever photo, but obviously they photoshopped the name out. So anyway, those all served a purpose for me, kind of a dual purpose, because those kind of cards didn't exist for those players. And then I like the fact that I could pick up the Fever and the Pacers in the same set, and they look great all together. And they're cheap. They really didn't cost me all that much. So there you have it. That's just a small portion of the unlicensed stuff in my collection. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'd love to hear in the comments about some of your unlicensed cards, so feel free to name drop those if you want to. Remember, there are new episodes of the audio podcast that come out every Thursday. And as always, thanks for watching.